Hey guys, it's Jalen. Welcome or welcome back. I'm here today to share with you my update for Pan in Every palette. For this project, I like to focus on hitting pans in all of my palettes, obviously. The palettes that I have rolled in are all randomly chosen for me. I do have them broken up into 3 different categories. The first is where I pick the shade, and I typically have 5 palettes going there. The next is where the shade is randomly chosen for me. And then I also did Sophie Alexandra's Level Up project this year. I'm not working on a palette for that now because I hit level 4 and there was no way I was going to be able to do level 5. So I'm saving that palette to start in the new year. So I'm going to share with you the palettes that are in this project. We're going to start with the ones where I chose the shade. So the first one I have is the ColourPop Lilac You A Lot palette. Next, I have the Natasha Denona Cupid palette. Then I have a Pat McGrath palette. This is the Mothership Utopian Dream palette. Then I have the Nomad Cartagena Mágica palette. And lastly, I have the Dior Backstage Eye palette in Cool Neutrals. Let's see if I can center that appropriately. Next, for the 3 palettes where the shade is randomly chosen for me, another Pat McGrath palette. This is the Mothership Diamond of the First Water palette. I also have the Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. And another 3rd Pat McGrath palette. This is the Moonlit Seduction palette. So, the question is, do I have pan in any of these palettes? You may have seen I was trying to be sneaky, but I do have palette in my Natasha Denona Cupid palette. So it's this one here. I was working on the shade Shell, and there is my pan. So I'm super happy about that. These take forever to hit pan in. So yay, pan in a Natasha Denona palette. But that is the only one I can roll out this month. So let me share with you how things are going on these other palettes. I'm going to be honest. I have not been using really much of these because I really am focused on my Norvina. It's still not finished. I'm still working on it. So like this particular palette I did use today. This is the ColourPop Lilac You A Lot palette, and I'm working on the shade Iffy. Ooh, if I can open this. Which is this shade here. So I did end up mixing this with another shadow I'm going to show you here in a minute. And you can see I do have a dip going there, but I really wanted to do a purple look with this shirt. So I find this shade to be a little bit like very cool toned, which I don't have a problem with typically. It's just right now a lot of the shadows I'm working on, especially in Norvina, are warm toned. So I can't really do a lot of cool toned looks unless I, do some combination, which I did today. So this is a terrible swatch, but there's the shade there. It's a really nice purple. I mixed it with this shade here from Pat McGrath. So I'm just going to do a little swatch to show you what that looks like. So that's kind of a crummy swatch, but you get an idea, like it definitely warmed this up and added a little bit of a pink hue to it. All right, next palette is the Nomad palette. This is of course this palette here, and here's what the inside looks like. The shade I'm working on is this one, which is La Luz Malva. And I mean, you can see I do have some progress on this, but to be honest, not a lot. So again, I think this will have more progress in the new year. Next, the Pat McGrath Utopian Dreams palette. I feel like I'm kind of like saving this for a special occasion. And because I'm not doing a ton of purple, like I didn't wear it today because I don't know, I should have put it on today, but I kind of forgot. I didn't really realize that I was going to film this video today. Anyway, this is the shade I'm working on. It's Astral Amethyst Moon. It's gorgeous. I haven't been doing a lot of purple. This is kind of a crummy swatch. I mean, it's a beautiful color, but it does way better over a tacky base. So anyway, I've maybe used that a couple of times since the last update. Not a lot. And the last palette in the first category is the Dior Backstage Eye Palette in Cool Neutrals. I had pulled in this dark shade. This is the shade Plum. And I use this all the time, and I'm like, you can barely tell. I mean, you can tell, but there's a lot of shadow in here. Like, it's a very hard pressed eyeshadow. I did not use this today, but I typically like to use it in the very outer corner when I'm doing like a warm toned look. Anyway, it's a cool tone shadow, but it works. So there's the shade there. I will take off my swatch here. That does not, it's not a color in my, it's not a eyeshadow in my palette story. Oh, I missed one. What did I miss? Oh, I forgot to swatch the La Luz Malva. Whoops, the shade. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. There's that one there. Really beautiful. All right, moving on to the shadows that were randomly chosen for me. I showed this one already, the Pat McGrath Diamond of the First Water palette, and I'm working on this last shade here, which is Love Match. And this originally had like a bumblebee imprint in it. So you can see I'm working that imprint down. I'm kind of focusing my brush right now in the, is that the corner? Like in here, this corner, to try to kind of break through that raised bumblebee, because I feel like it's taking forever to hit pan in this. So there is the shade. It's really pretty. Again, I really do like mixing it with that purple, but I don't think I'm anywhere close to hitting pan. Does this say how many? This has a total of 6.6 grams. So each pan is like over an ounce in this thing, or over a gram. This one I have not touched because it does not really go with my Pan That palette. I don't have other eyeshadows I can make work with this that's in that palette, but it's the ColourPop Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas palette. And I have this shade here, which is actually a depotted shade from the Kathleen Lights palette. So yeah, this one is just, I don't have any other shadows right now that I can make work with this that I'm working on. And I'm, like I said, hyper focused. I've really got to finish that palette. It's got to happen. So this one has not had much use. I know I'm going to get more use on that next year. Probably more so like as an outer corner shade or a deepening shade. And the last palette I'm working on is another Pat McGrath. This is the Moonlit Seduction palette. And the shade that I got randomly rolled in is this one here. Did I write down the name? Yeah, Blitz Venus is the shade. I have used this a couple of times. I've used it in the very inner corner of my lid. It's beautiful. It's really pretty. I've had other shadows that I need to work on as well, but I've definitely dipped into this one and I love it. It's stunning. So just have a teeny tiny baby dip going in that one. So those are the palettes and my progress on them. I am really hopeful that I can get pan in this Lilac You a Lot. I feel like it's kind of close. Other than that, I don't know if I'm going to have pan in anything. A lot of it is going to depend on Pan That palette for next year. I'm going to grab my iPad and we're going to pick another palette for the section where I choose the shade. So let me pull up Wheel of Names and we'll see what the random gods are wanting me to work on. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we're going to get. If I get into the Pat McGrath palette, I'm going to freak out. This is the ColourPop and Marielle collaboration, Control Alt Glam. Ooh. All right, let me go grab that. I'll be right back. Ooh, this palette. All right, here is the outside packaging, and here's what the inside of this palette looks like. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. What should I bring in? So my debate has been between this shade and this shade. So the pink one is VR and the blue shimmer is Glitch. I think I'm going to go with the blue shimmer because as I'm kind of thinking about what's coming up in 2024, I don't really have any shadows like this in a palette that I'm working on. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in Glitch, and I think I may be able to work it in with that green shade as well. Green matte. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to bring in Glitch. Plus, mattes are a little more challenging to hit pan in, and whereas the shimmers are a bit easier. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing in Glitch, this one here. Yay! And that is my new color story. I'm so excited. So anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you are doing well and staying safe. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. This is the palette that I originally was inspired to... No, not a palette. Okay, bye.